Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. This video is going to be a little bit different. So as many of you know, my upload schedule has been, a little bit on the worst side for the past couple weeks. But I just want to let you know why. I haven't really been having, I haven't been having as much fun in Project Kaiju as I used to. And I feel like it's the same with a lot of other people based on the amount of feedback I've heard and how many people are actually playing the game, which varies from 60 people to I've highest seen it 140. And I'm just going to explain some of the reasons why I think this Project Kaiju is in this state right now. So yeah, let's just get right into the first point. Okay, so my first issue with Project Kaiju really is how overwhelming the game can be. Now this not only affects new players, but also players that have been playing the game for a while, much like myself. Now, as soon as you log into the game, there's not a whole lot there, but what you can see is the menu, the jump button, whatever kaiju you're on. So it doesn't look very complex at first, okay? But then once you go into the menu, that's where things get complicated. For new players, I mean, even though the UI was way better than before, it's just a huge amount of stuff for a new player. And I mean, while it's good because there's lots of variety, it can also be seen as very overwhelming. And I mean, yeah, that really an overwhelming game. Like if I'm gonna play a game and I see that the stuff you need to unlock is there's that much stuff, then I don't know if I'm gonna be as intrigued to grind out and get all the stuff. But I've been playing Project Kaiju for a while, so it wasn't really that bad for me because I knew I could maybe get all this stuff. I mean, still to this day, I'm never gonna have all the limited skins because of what happens with the last battle pass, which kind of demotivated me a lot. But yeah, just the sheer complexity of this game, minus all the skins, if you even look at the menu, just as is, you can see everything on the menu where it's there's just so much stuff. There's all these different game modes, which is good. It's still a good thing, but just the amount of stuff can be a little overwhelming for new players, which is why maybe a simpler UI would be better. Or I guess that's what the tutorial's for, but I feel like just in general the complexity mainly burns down to the missions and how they work, because if you're telling me to destroy 400 buildings, that's kind of ridiculous. I know it's never 400, but it's 100 buildings. And if I log on to Project Kaiju, I usually just log on, collect my 5 crates, and then log off because, as I said, I'm not really that motivated. But unless I'm grinding daily, I'm not gonna block 85 attacks. I would have to get a friend in to hit me 85 times, because I did 2 missions and it took me about 30 minutes to do those 2. There are 5. So that's another, that'll be an hour and 20 minutes, assuming they all take you the same amount of time, which they won't, because buildings are not easily destroyed. They have a certain amount of health. And yeah, I mean, it's going to take a while to destroy 100 buildings. And to block 75 attacks, the players, especially if you're a more skilled player, you're not going to be getting hit that much, which means you're not going to be able to, or you're not going to need to use your block, not even be able to use it. The only mission that seems fair to complete is to hit enemies 400 times. It may not seem like it, but you can literally just play your 5 rounds and you'll be 3/4 through, which is what I feel most of the missions need to be. Just by playing the game, you should be able to be at least halfway through the missions, doing your daily stuff. I know a lot of players like the free-for-all, but I feel players that like me, who play once in a while just for the rewards, because I haven't been having as much fun because there's nothing new, and really the whole battle pass thing happened. So it's really not like, it's not the same as it used to be. Now, if you compare this system to what it used to be in the old Project Kaiju, you can see a significant difference. In the old Project Kaiju, there was a Kaiju select, there was a skin select, and there was a play button. That's 3 buttons. So for new players, oh, let me just click play. They can just go in and play free-for-all, team battle, or I believe solo battle was the last one, and then training, obviously. So it's a whole lot simpler. A new player can just click play, and then that'll be that. But with the new system, there's like 9 game modes. Like 6 of them aren't even used. Like I can't even remember the last time I got loaded into a destruction round. And it's kind of sad because destruction was one of the more unique and creative modes. I don't think I've ever seen a mode like that in a kaiju game. But just because no one else is playing it, the game mode just feels, you know, kind of pointless because you can't play it by yourself. So you need a group of people to play it. And yeah, that's pretty much destruction mode for you. I'm ranting a little bit, sorry about that, but let's just move on to the next point. Alright, I don't know how much has to be said about pricing, but let's just talk about how limited skins are going to cost you Robux. So this isn't as much of a big deal, as if you were a new player, I'm sure this doesn't really matter. If you're a player who doesn't like to collect the skins, it doesn't really matter. But I have always been like a collector in games, like Dinosaur Simulator, take it back, you know, 2014 or whatever, 2015. All the hybrids came out, and none of them costed Robux, but they all went limited. If you're gonna list something for limited, why is it gonna cost you money? Like, I don't know, that just doesn't make sense to me. And I feel like with the Battle Pass doing that, it definitely doesn't help the game. So, limited skins and then just being able to buy your way through the Battle Pass. Like, at the end of the day, the game needs to make money. Like, that's the point. It's a business, and that's what it needs to do. But I feel like limited skins that shouldn't be in the Battle Pass. Like, yes, extra rewards, but I'm not sure about limited skins. Again, not my game. It's really up to Blade and his team, but I don't know if I was making a game. I'm not sure if I would do that. So yeah, let's just not stay on this point for too long. Let's just move on. Alright, so one thing we need to talk about is variety. I'm not talking about skin variety, I'm talking about kaiju variety. This comment by FrokyLeaderX, which is a guy that many of you have probably heard of, says, I like Project Kaiju, but the only things that push me a bit away from the game is annoying bugs and lack of variety, or lack of kaiju variety. And I feel like this comment kind of sums up one of Project Kaiju's biggest flaws, which is the kaiju variety. And the thing is, although there are 5 kaijus in the game, it's pretty easy to master all 5 of those. Well, obviously not master, but be able to use all 5 of them pretty efficiently. Now, once you've done that, like, what do you do? Project Kaiju is completely skill-based. Like, that's the thing. If you're skilled, you're going to be good at the game. If you're not, you're going to be bad. It's not like you can just, you know, buy something to make you better, because it's not like, you know, that manner of game. So the kaiju variety is really what the game needs. Although there are kaijus like Mechagodzilla and Kong that are on the way, I think the game currently gets stale because of the lack of variety in kaijus. And for those of you who don't know, I'll just say it here. Blade is taking a small break from Project Kaiju, so it's going to be a while, or just a little bit, before we actually get Mechagodzilla. He didn't say actually how long he was going to be out, but he is working on another game. I'm pretty sure it's like a Friday Night Funkin' thing or whatever. I don't know. I've played it before on a live stream. So yeah, Blade's taking a little break, so there aren't going to be any new kaijus added until he gets back. So yeah, one thing the game needs is definitely more kaijus, but you know, that comes with development. That's a lot of hard work, but you know, if we can see more kaijus in this game, I think it'll really succeed. Alright, so this point kind of goes hand in hand with my last point. So the game gets boring. Like, there's not much else to it. Like, because of the kaiju variety, the game does get stale. There's not much to do. I guess you could do the missions, but that's more of a grind than actually having fun, if that makes sense. Some things that were done well that made people, I think, enjoy the game more was the introduction of the destruction game mode and the introduction of new kaijus. I don't think tournament mode really did too much, but you know, definitely like fun game modes make the game more fun, and then obviously new kaijus. So yeah, that's why this goes hand in hand. The more kaijus, the less boring the game will be. So yeah. I feel like the only final thoughts I have with this video are I've been asking the question over and over in my head. Why is Project Kaiju 4.0, like, why doesn't it feel as fun as Project Kaiju 3.0? Now, this question is so complex, like it could take a whole video to answer it, but I think that just the general feeling of the nostalgic feeling, like just, you know, being back makes 4.0 seem a bit worse, if that makes any sense. Like, we all played 3.0. I think on average that game was always getting like 200 to 300 players, which is weird because a way less complex game. How is it higher up in player base than Project Kaiju 4.0? So, like, I'm not 100% sure, but I have asked around, and some of the responses I've got are, you know, a lot of it had to do with 4.0 not being balanced properly. Some of it has to do with like 3.0 just being more fun in general. 4.0 having a lack of players, which, you know, is directly correlated to it. I've heard some people talk about how 4.0 rewards aren't as fair because people rage quit. But I feel like my personal thoughts are, obviously 3.0 had more variety in kaijus. I mean 3.0, if I said 4.0. 3.0 has more variety in kaiju. Like, they have more, the skins were not as complex. Like, you didn't have to, like, to get an event skin, you didn't have to complete a whole battle pass. Does that make sense? Like, you could just buy it, and then you would have it. Also, I feel like one thing that is super essential is the fact that G-cells were easier to get. Yes, in Project Kaiju 4.0, G-cells you can get, and you can get them at a slower pace, but I feel like just having fun playing the game was a better way to get G-cells than grinding out missions. So I think G-cells need to, like, the G-cells, how they should be done is you should get more per minute than you currently do. I think you get a per kill, actually. You should get way more per kill. Because I think you get like 7 in PvP, like the 1v1, and then 3 in free-for-all, which is absolutely absurd. The only times I get G-cells is through loot boxes. That's the only way I get G-cells. And then the battle pass costing you 2,000. There goes all you're playing for the past like week. So I do believe that 3.0, I generally had more fun in it. And I don't have one specific reason for it. There are multiple reasons. As I said, there could probably be a whole video to cover all this. But, you know, I guess that's really all I can say. If you guys have any reasons why you might think that 3.0 felt more fun than 4.0, you can let me know. It could just be nostalgia coming in, telling me that it was better, but, you know, I genuinely think even though the game had more bugs, it felt, you know, it felt simpler. It was a simpler time, and the game, even when it wasn't getting updated, I feel like it still was fun. You know, like, I never had a dull moment with 3.0. There was always stuff to do. I felt like challenges definitely increased that, and not everyone did those, which I highly recommend you guys do. But yeah, just in general, I feel like 3.0 had, was more fun, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Anyway, if you guys have any feedback on this video, just let me know. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later.